And they said, well, let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you what I believe. Let me tell you how I feel. And I'm thinking, I don't care what you think, feel, or believe. What does the Word of God say?
Right.
Ultimately, we got to get down to an objective, not subjective, an objective source of truth to live by. That's why we embrace the Bible. And it's why, frankly, we embrace the Constitution.
The Constitution is a document, if I heard you correctly, that basically explains the freedoms of the people and the restraints of a government.
Basically, that's exactly right.
Okay.
It holds the government back and it lets loose people to live their lives with understanding that if they violate the rights of another, then the purpose of government is to serve as the referee and to bring justice into that dispute. But what amazes me about our Constitution is that it's all designed to enforce and undergird the basic liberty of the individual. I go back to the very beginning of Christianity. It's about the individual. Our freedoms, our liberties are not collective, they're individual. Your rights as an American are not because of the Crouch family, or because you're Christian, or because you live in a certain state. They are unique and applicable to you as an individual. You have an individual right. That's so incredible.
Yeah.
It is incredible to think about that you as an individual have that power. Where did it come from? It came from God, who recognized you as an individual, created you as an individual. And so the Constitution, having started with that notion of a Christian worldview, baked it into the founding document that we live by, which is our freedoms, our liberties, our rights are individually assigned to us. And we have those liberties as a divine right. And the purpose of government, which we created the government didn't create us. We created a government that was given the task, protect those individual, personal rights that we have.
What we often say, if you don't believe that there is a God,
Yeah.
and a God that's in control, then you need to play God.
Or you want to try to be a
You want
God.
to try to
you know.
be a God. And I think we're seeing so much of that in our country. Godless people that have they're just misinformed. Like you were talking about this young lady, she's just completely misinformed. You don't see Americans that are our age lining up to go move to a socialist country.
Yeah.
No.
We were in Berlin, we were in those countries, we've been in Russia when, man, there were lines and lines for bread.
In the late 80s.
We were giving coats out to people. You know, we've seen it with our own eyes, and people that are just misinformed and godless. So this is messing with the foundations of our country. Right?
It totally is, and I think, you know, we have people that would like to move us to the time of the judges in the Old Testament, when the Bible said every man did what was right in his own eyes.
Right.
Everybody becomes his or her own God,
Yeah.
and we base our whole world on what I think, what I feel, what I believe. I've spoken on college campuses, and I'm always amazed that a student will stand up and challenge me, whether it's the issue of life or marriage, whatever it is, and they say, well, let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you what I believe. Let me tell you how I feel. And I'm thinking, I don't care what you think, feel, or believe. What does the Word of God say?
Right.
Ultimately, we got to get down to an objective, not subjective, an objective source of truth to live by. That's why we embrace the Bible, and it's why, frankly, we embrace the Constitution. It becomes an objective force of law that we have agreed to. It becomes our social contract, so that we say, maybe what I think, feel, and believe isn't all that smart. So let's collectively come up with an idea that guarantees me as an individual fundamental rights and yet fundamental liberties and freedoms that no one in the history of the world has ever had.